Good morning. Good morning. It is Tuesday, December 20th. Time is flying by fast. If you haven't gotten all of your presents bought, wrapped, cookies baked, all your grocery shopping done for the dinners and stuff like that, if you have any kind of big plans for the holidays, uh, you're running out of time. In fact, I've still got a lot of things I've got to do myself, but hoping that it'll all work out. Okay, let me put my tweet out real quick. That is good. Alrighty. Um, let's see. I guess we could go over some of the things I was working on last night. Um, I've got like so many little projects ongoing, it's kind of hard to keep track of all of them. Um, but this one I think you guys are pretty familiar with. The I don't even know what to call it. I keep calling it like the holiday sweets room. It's really not. Maybe I should call it the sweet suite or something. But it's basically I've just been kind of going crazy with food items, mostly desserts of some kind. Um, Coming up with different ideas for not just furniture, but also decorations on the wall and just different uses to try and play around with ideas of can I make it look like this, or does this work for something else, that kind of thing. Good morning, Bones. Glad you could join us. And so let's see. The newest things I added was well, let's talk about the lamp, the ice cream cone lamp. Um, Mostly I was just looking for some ideas of how to make an ice cream cone. You know, generally speaking, I always try to making it like um, like a like a cone, like a pointed, you know, spherical cone thingy, you know, round at the top and then pointed at the bottom. And I got to looking at pictures and noticed that some of the cones are actually flat on the bottom and flat on the top. It's reminds me of like Dairy Queen, I think it was. Those kind of deals. And so for this particular little construction, I basically took a pair of domes and sandwiched them together so that they're kind of half domey, half flat, and made those the sections, and then I just graduated the sections out. So there's actually a little bit of the lamp bottom sticking into the table, but it's not a whole lot. And of course, with the ice cream stuck on top, it covers up the bulby part of the topmost layer. So I don't know if you've ever seen these type of cones. They're usually like a wafer kind of like wafer cookie type style, and uh, it's like the top part has like holes inside it, kind of helps catch any of the melted ice cream, I guess. And then the rest of it is kind of, I don't know, it's got like honeycomb sections. And again, it's meant to kind of trap all of the drips so that by the time you get to the bottom of the cone, you've got this nice little extra ice creamy uh, cookie type thing to eat. It's not like a waffle cone. Waffle cone's a little different. And of course, I couldn't get the pattern exactly right, but I think it works all right for a decoration. And of course, I did try and experiment with colors, using some of the color shifting on the snowballs, which is what's being used as the ice cream dips. But the colors are pretty faint, and of course, because of the lighting in here, which I've tried to tone down quite a bit. I've actually removed one of the lamps that I'm using or was using and reduced the size of a couple of others, but it's still pretty bright. So it looks like the color is like bleached out on one side, but if you come at it from the back, you can see that it's more kind of a peach colored, a green, and like a raspberry or something. And then of course I went the extra bit and put in a little plug. That's just the hanging cable, a few vent tanks, both for the big part and the little slots in the thingy, and then another trophy gear there. So really simple, but I thought it'd be fun. I'm sure it would work not only in like a dessert place, but like a children's room, that kind of thing. And if I'm making some weird noises because I've got a cough drop in, I'm started coughing again today. And thank you, Bones. I appreciate that. I wasn't sure if they were actually going to publish it on time. I was beginning to wonder. But yeah, uh, I didn't know if I was actually supposed to say anything. They asked me about this like I want to say a couple of months ago. It's been a while, and because I had to ask pretty far in advance for the codes, and so it was at that time they said, this might be a good time to do the spotlight thing. I was like, okay, wow. So yeah, I didn't know if I was allowed to say anything or not. So I'm glad it turned out okay. Wasn't sure if the screenshots I sent would work or anything. I'm sure there's going to be some to say, why didn't you like post any of your like full plot builds and stuff? But they specifically asked me to link some, or provide some images and stuff for things that I actually talked about or referenced in my answers to their questions. So a lot of it was like CBDC related and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I hope it brings attention, some extra attention to the housing and everything. Good morning, Faye, and thank you very much. I appreciate it. And good morning, Poi. Glad you guys could join us. But yeah, it was pretty out of the blue surprise kind of thing, because I know they've been doing the guild spotlights, but I didn't realize they were planning on doing individual, which I guess kind of makes sense because not everybody's in a guild, and some things that they do aren't necessarily guild related. So it's exciting. I've always appreciated that Carbine, the team, has tried to keep in touch with the community and promote and support the community when and where they can. So this hopefully gives some hope to other individuals that have been contributing to the community in their own way, that they too could get some recognition for that. So I was slightly embarrassed to do it, but I knew it was for a good reason, to bring some well-deserved limelight to the housing system, because anything I can do to help promote that is I'm willing to do it, even if it's kind of embarrassing to do so. And of course, thankfully, they didn't ask, like too personal of a questions. It was mostly just housing stuff, questions, stuff like that. Okay, so the other thing I worked on, and I forgot to grab a picture of it, was the cookie clock. I figured I needed a clock somewhere, and I'd actually thought about using the donut as the clock, but then I decided no, I like it better as like to follow along with the dessert painting. So the cookie clock, basically it's just an upside down to a cookie. I liked his belly as the clock face, so I just sunk his head down, put a couple of licorice sticks on there for the hands, and then I've kind of helped match it slightly to the cabinets on top of. The handles are the rolled sleeping bags. It's supposed to be like a swirly candy kind of thing, and it's the same thing for the little knob in the middle. I don't know if anyone will get that that's what that's supposed to be, but I'm hoping so. And of course, I've got a little triangle piece for the back. You could do that also for like a picture if you want to do some kind of a picture. Those will work perfect for the little backing there. You want to just add that extra little bit. You can also see I've kind of extended the Oreo cookie theme into the rest of this little corner here. Basically, I just copied the one cookie and pasted it into a group of 3 seats and made these little couches. The little candy pillow, it's the same one over here. I just replicated it, put it on each one. And then I don't know if anyone gets the reference, but we have the red and blue carpets. They're a little bit bright compared to the rest of the decorations. It's very, I don't know what the word, a little strong. And of course, the items used themselves is the dynamite piece of the fireworks set. It's just really big and laid down. The blue one is the blue rocket. It's like 2 or 3 for each rug. I just rotated it to kind of try and make it as round as possible. You could probably go even further and add more and make it super smooth all the way around, but I figured 3 was good enough. I neglected to get this red one perfectly flat, so I may end up tweaking it again later, because you can see there's a little bit of a raised area in some parts of it. It's like super flat here but raised over here. And what it is the item isn't exactly perfectly flat, even though it's actually level, you know, when you look at the coordinates and stuff. So I'm going to have to tilt it just a little bit. I had to do that with the blue one as well, but I actually did it before I did all the copying of it. So I'm going to have to go back and refix this one. And then, of course, the lettering is the ice rock blocks. It's mostly the cubed ones, the blocks themselves, and then there's a couple of arches for the round part of the P. But does anyone get the reference? I don't know if it's very clear. I think it might have helped if instead of blue I went with yellow, but I couldn't really find any nice flat yellow pieces that I thought could work. But I'll give you guys a minute to think about it. See, you know, maybe the clue would be that, you know, all of this has to do with sweets and desserts and candies and stuff, so maybe that'll be enough. As for the donut picture, that one was pretty fun. Bones knows I'm a big fan of The Simpsons, so I knew I had to make a donut somewhere. And so this was my opportunity to do that now that we have the color shifting, making something into pink. You know, usually we have to rely on the pink pillow and a few other small items that have a little touch of pink. Now we have the opportunity to turn something typically not that color into a nice pink. I chose the red rocket. It's that one, it's white with the red tip. I tinted that pink to make the pink frosting for the donut. The donut itself is just a dome exile version. So it looks like, you know, you're getting a bird's eye, like a super top view of a donut. The sprinkles, those are a little bit more complicated. I went through like a ton of items because I knew I wanted it to be kind of like a long, thin little sprinkle, but I needed to find different colors, and I didn't want to do a whole bunch of the tinting, the color shifting. So I looked for items in different colors that would contrast well with the pink, would show up while they were small or somewhat small, but could get them all relatively the same size, so it looked consistent, as if it was the same thing, just different colors. So it's really, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different colors here. It's 4 different items. The red ones are the dynamite firework pieces, the same thing I'm using for the rug over here. The blue ones are a little bit harder to obtain item, but I happen to have some extras on here. It's the tiny blue crystal. The white ones are the edges of the ice rock blocks, just sunk in so that you just see the edge. And then the dark ones, they're really supposed to be kind of green, but it's so dark it almost looks black. These are the chuckling pumpkin lantern. It's like the very edge of the bottom of the little legs there. It's just one of them turned. So kind of a weird thing. Okay, no clue whatsoever, huh? Well, it's supposed to be in reference to M&Ms, but I didn't want to use the M you know, because it's actually a known thing, and I didn't want to get into trouble for using something uh, too much like it, so I made them P and P's for Protostar. You know, I'm kind of a nutso when it comes to that, so. Like I said, I made everything. I wasn't sure if that really played off well, but yeah, it's supposed to be little M&M rugs, but they're P and P's. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, PPs, you know, P and P's. But yeah, so that is all of the new stuff for the sweet suite. I guess we'll call it that. Okay, so off to the warehouse. And I'm happy to report we've got another entry into the, actually two, well, one, I guess. There's a couple of, there's like at least one or two people that have built more than one thing. So we've got way more actual mounts to go through on the 30th, but we've got now, I think it's 11 participants for sure. I think it's the last count. So I'm excited about that. I'm hoping that maybe the article will bring a few more PPs. Yeah, I know, it's kind of well, we don't buy them too much. We're not big candy eaters. I mean, it's not that I don't eat candy at all, but typically if we were going to buy something sweet, it's usually ice cream or something. Something that we can get a big bucket of it and scoop it out, you know, into individual bits. Okay, so yesterday we did the Yule logs. Again, if you looked at my picture on the Twitter, you'll see that I forgot to do what I always say when you're taking pictures, something that has interactables. You see how the candles, depending on where I'm facing, the candles light up with that green aura. Basically just turn away from it and then take your screenshot. I had did that, but I usually when I'm like taking screenshots of these things, I like take like a half a dozen or more. And the one that I ended up picking, I neglected to notice that I was actually facing forward. So one of my candles was lit up green. But just kind of remember that. Yeah, I'm hoping we'll get even more before the week is out. Oh, actually, before the 2 weeks out, because we got roughly 2 weeks, you know, pretty close. Oh gosh, that reminds me, I still need to update the combat one. All right, Bones, see you in a few minutes. Anyway, since we kind of got on to the edibles, and I've been kind of obsessing over sweets and candies and stuff, I figured we would try and do, we already did one type of cookie. We did the Oreo cookies. But while in some households that might be considered a traditional holiday cookie, I thought we might try some actual like icinged cookies. So I'm just going to replicate this for another table here so that we have a little station to work at. And for the tray, you could use just about anything, but I like using the travel posters for like a baking tray kind of thing. It's about the right color. It's rectangle, which is your usual shape of a baking sheet or baking tray for your cookies. And I always go for Adventure Awaits because it's the cheapest one, or one of the cheapest ones. So, and what I do is, and it's the same thing I did over here, you'll notice it's got a little bit of a lip sticking up from the surface of the thing, and that's basically achieved by replicating it and lowering it down inside itself. So you just replicate it, flip it over, and I like bring it down just a little bit, smaller size, so there's not no flashing on the ends. Let's, so just pop it in so that it just covers up the poster face, and now you have a nice little baking tray. You could add handles and make it an actual like tea tray kind of thing if you want. So this is about the size, so you can see how small the cookies are going to be, and that's usually the problem. For a lot of our little details like this, we have the issue of finding items that work for what we're wanting that will also work from a distance and stuff. So I'm going to just kind of not worry about that, because I'm sure some of the pieces I'm going to pick aren't going to show up unless you're right on top of the tray of cookies. But we'll see. So I'm going to try and make what we call sugar cookies. Some might refer to them as shortbread cookies. They're kind of a light tan. They don't color very dark when you bake them. They're usually almost like sand color. So I was trying to think of things that might be that color, might work well. Something that can be kind of rounded, I guess. And the only thing that came to mind while I was thinking about this last night was the bowl. I think it has a bit of a tan bottom, yeah. The only trouble I'm not confident about is the roundness of the bowl itself. If I remember right, it's kind of got the straight edges again, so you may have to use multiples to get it just like you want. So now you'd have like a little tan cookie. The size will be determined on how many cookies you want across the pan. And I think it would be great if we could fit in like 3. So I'm going to see if I can get this. Let's just make a cookie first. It's like super, super flat. I may have to change that a little bit. Let's bring that down. So it has a little bit of a thickness. It's not perfectly flat. I think that'll work. Okay, so then we want to set up a linked set for this. So we're going to call this cookie tray. And add linked set. Welcome back, Bones. What'd you get? You got another cheese and bread. I'm going to do a quick reload UI just so I don't have to do this again, because yesterday I was doing some stuff and ended up crashing the add-on and lost a few of the sets I'd been working on. So okay, so open it back up. Now I saw Moose tweeting that Katia is working on something else special, another feature in her add-on. I have no idea what it's about, but hopefully she'll be sharing that with the world soon. A Danish, oh. Is it like a cream cheese one? I love cream cheese. It's not gonna, I mean, just add a new one. For whatever reason, when I make a new one of these, it doesn't always. Now I can select it. Isn't that weird? I don't understand why it does that. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can fit 3 on there. If I can't, I may just make the tray bigger. That would be the easiest. So let's space out our cookies. And then we'll resize the tray. There we go, that's a little better. Okay, so now I have the 3 cookies across. And keep micro moving these things. So now I want to make a set of all 3. So we're going to link this to this one on the end. Clear. And then we're just going to make them stack this way. And you could, if you want, just link this row with this one. And then you have another. Looks like we got room for 1 more, so I'm going to unlink this. I think it's this here. Yeah. Last row of cookies. And there you go. Now you have a little baking sheet full of cookies, and now we get to decorate them. So notice I've kept them all the same shape. It's simpler that way. You could, if you want, elaborate and make ones the shape of candy canes if you want, or little gingerbread men, or tree shapes, star shapes, that kind of thing. But I wanted to keep it a little simple, so we're going to get fancier with the decoration that goes on top rather than the cookie itself. Where all of the cookies will be round, so we're going to be thinking of things that will work for a round cookie. So first and foremost, some might just have strictly just a white coat of icing to start with. So you could use the ice rock. I guess it'd be the cornerstones. Just keep in mind, to make a full round, you need 4 pieces because the cornerstone is basically a quarter of a full circle. And then as you're shrunk down to this little cookie size, they're going to be pretty invisible until you're like right on top of them. So probably the best would just to be use the red rocket, the bottom of that. If you don't have if you didn't happen to unlock this, and I've had this has come up in conversation on the forums, and I've had a few people ask about it directly to me. I'm constantly referencing these firework decor, and not everybody's got access to them. For these, you had to have, let me open up the achievements. It's in the public events, no, live events, I think. Yeah. It's Starfall. I think we celebrated it June of this year. And basically, you had to collect a number of items related to the Starfall celebration. That include the Rocket WildStar pet, one of the sky remodels, some decor like the cupcake, some toys like the sparking spurs and such like that, and some, a variety of things. Once you collected them all, that got you the achievement, got them all, and that led to unlocking all of the firework decor on the housing item vendor. And it's a permanent unlock. Once you do it, they're there for good, which is a great thing. I hope they have plans of adding more decor in this manner. I think that's a fantastic way of not only getting people incentivized to do whatever event is going on, whether it be a repeated event or a one-time thing or whatever, but it's a really amazing reward, because if you've spent any time at all with this, you know that I use these pieces quite a bit because they're colorful. There's a lot of nice shapes and uses that I've discovered for them, so I'm constantly returning to them. On the bright side, if you weren't around in June or missed out in unlocking them, didn't realize that the achievement would do that for you, all is not lost. You simply have to find somebody that did unlock the achievement, make them a roommate to your plot, and get them to buy the items that you're wanting. So, it's not like you are completely without access to them. It's just simplified if you manage to do the unlock yourself. If they do purchase the items for you, it does not unlock the items for you to be able to buy more later. You'll constantly have to ask somebody else to come and buy them for you until presumably next June, when the Starfall event returns. I assume you'll still be able to, have access to that achievement and can unlock it for yourself at that time. But it works the same with daily login rewards, like the cargo lifter contraption and all that. If you haven't yet reached X number of days in the daily login reward, but know someone that has, they can buy those items for you as long as they're a roommate on your plot. Just be careful about who you roommate. That's a very big responsibility. They have the ability to delete stuff, not delete it from your crate, but they can crate things, that you've put on your plot. They can just put it all back in the crate. They can move things around, that kind of stuff. So, neighbors, roommate someone that you trust. That's the big thing. So, okay, so back to the fireworks stuff. I think I actually bought one. Let me check here. Yep. So my go-to item would probably be the red rocket, because if you flip it upside down, then it's a little white piece. It shows up fairly good at a small size. It's not 100%. At a certain distance it will disappear, but for this particular size I think it'll work all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of these, and that's just to make sure it's right in the center of the cookie. And then I'm going to lower it as much as I can until it's a solid center. So now we have a white ice cookie. Now you could do this with, using the same piece and color shifting it to make it look different colors, pinks, blues, greens, that kind of thing. We're going to start with a white ice one. Now, if you look close, you can see that it too is not perfectly round. If you want it to be round, just duplicate it, rotate it, and you can make it a little bit more round. Oops, I think I'm standing on it. I might not have took. Yeah, let me, don't stand too close to your cookie. Yeah, that's true, Poy. That's also true, because I think when I did it, I ended up unlocking it on both my Dominion and my Exile, because I thought, I might want to. But yeah, now you don't have to. If you have it unlocked with an Exile character, your Dominion alts will be able to utilize it, because your Exile alt can go to the Dominion alt and buy it for them. So it's good, and I like the way they did it. I just wish they would do more of that kind of thing. So let me pour it out so I can fix that. Otherwise, I will be unclear as to what's still there or not. But yeah, for some reason that's come up, and I don't know if it's because I've been using them so much that people have been wanting to also use it. But Just one of those things that, again, it's not one of those well-known kind of deals. It's not like we talk about it every day. You know, I wish, you know, I had the time to be able to list out all of those little tips and tricks every time we stream, but I think it would get kind of sickening if we did that every time. So, but when it comes up, like with Cupcake's issue with the fab kit and getting some of the stuff lost uh, when they placed a new one or replaced an old one, it's when that happens, that reminds me, hey, I should mention it. It's time to mention it again, that KBT actually has a built-in function or feature that can help alleviate the pain of that. So, okay, so we have the cookie round and we have it iced. So what white round would you think that would work for? Immediately that comes to mind for me is like a snowman face. So you could, now I know working with small like this is probably trickier than it looks. If you have problem working with stuff this size, the main reason I like to do it at the size that I plan on using it is because it's easier for me to determine if something will show up when it's smaller or not. But if you have trouble with that, just link it all together, enlarge it a bit, and then you have a little bit more visibility. So pardon if the zooming in and out gets a little old, but I prefer working at the size that I'm wanting to use the item, so it's easier for me to determine, okay, maybe I'll try a different item because it doesn't show up very well, that kind of thing. So it's tougher to work in the size that you want it, but that's just how I do it. So, but other times I'll build really big and then kind of shrink it down anyway. So I don't know. I think it just depends on what I'm doing. Okay, so Snowman, he has, what does he have? He's got eyes, coal black eyes. So let's get this straightened up here. Makes it easier to line things up. So give him 2 eyes. And for a mouth, I would probably use an oversized one. Yeah, that's the way I did it with Carrot. She's the one that's got it unlocked, and I usually tend to build on her, mostly because that's the main character people know me on. So I tend to stay on her as much as possible, so that if somebody needs to reach out to me, they won't be wondering, okay, what character is she on now? Because I'm not in all the circles with the other, you know, my alts and stuff, so it's just easier. Trying to get this like a smiley face. You might could get away with using a hanging cable, but I suspect not, because that's so much more than let's see, I don't think that's going to work either. So let's just go back to the dots. We'll give him little coal pieces for his mouth. Just space this out just a little bit more. I could have left it at 3, which I may end up doing that anyway because it's a little crowded there. but I figured 4 would be better. And of course, then you need an orange nose. So oh, is that true, Faye? Oh, well, that's pretty good then, because yeah, we've seen it in Dominion plots that we've toured, especially as that faux door that you're talking about, especially like in spaceports and spaceships and stuff. And uh, it's just not something we had access to. But that's good to know that we can get the Dominion cryopod from the special. I'll have to get Melon over here to visit all my exile plots so I can buy that for them. What I'm going to use it for, I have no idea, because I don't really have like spaceshipy stuff. Okay, so for orange, you could find something that could color shift. That's maybe the right shape, but I'm just going to use one of the bottles. Um, let's see, I think I like, yeah, I like the medium one because it's a little longer. Let's see if we can get this kind of sunk down enough. Rotate it so there's more orange showing than the label. It's probably not going to be really that noticeable because of the size, but I still... Now this particular item will disappear pretty quick, so we're going to see it up close, but not from a distance. It's going to look like he's a noseless uh, snowman. Still might be too big for him. Can you see it? It's really hard to see. Oh gosh. Maybe... There we go. That's about the right shape. Now he's got a little snowman nose. So I could make a whole row of those. Now, in theory, it would have been better to like make a single row, and then if I was going to have repeats of the same decoration, then replicate the cookie and the decoration together. But if you didn't do that, if you didn't think ahead like me, and wow, that doesn't look centered very good, does it? It's weird. I think it's because of how I'm looking at it. It looks like the centering goes off, but there's the little snowman cookie there. So let's say we want a whole row of these two to be snowmen as well. So that means we'll try and come up with 5 different designs. No promises, but we'll try. So what I would do is I would just link all these together to say one of the eyes. I think that would be easiest. So link all these little bits up. Again, there is a way that you can set it up so that Katya's will auto-link anything new that you add, so you don't have to do this later. But I prefer to do it this way myself. That's through I think it's something where, say I set this particular eye as the target, and then you hit the auto link, and thereafter, I think, is every time you add a new piece, it auto links it to that particular item. It's just me, I would probably have more trouble with it because I'd forget to turn off the auto target kind of thing. So, okay, I think that's the whole face. Yep. So then I would go back to my cookie tray, clear, add link, and then just And now I have 2 snowman cookies. And then we'll do it again. There we go. So there's 3 cookies, and you can see at this distance it looks like it just has eyeballs. But if you get to right about here, that would probably be a good screenshot size right here. You can still see that there's snowman faces on there. It just looks strange because it looks like the icing is off to the side. If you're going to want a really awesome screenshot, you'd probably be best taking it from the top. Like, boop, do like, that's what I do when I'm doing screenshots of a lot of these things. I'm like hopping and I take the picture while I'm up in the air. Sometimes if it's outside, I'll like get on my mount and so you can get a higher jump. And it's just me, you know, especially if I'm on somebody else's plot and I don't have access to like maybe adding a ladder for a short period to take some nice shots. Aurora's asked me about this in the past, wanting to know if she needed to move anything to accommodate me. I was like, no, I'll figure it out. And I was just kind of doing this around her plot the whole time. It was like boing, boing, trying to take pictures. But that's how I do it, you know, try and get the best shot out of it. Okay, so what's another one? Ornaments would probably work really well. A lot of ornaments around, and that one again would lend itself well depending on what color you use, that kind of thing. So maybe you want a red ornament with some little decorative icing highlights. Maybe you want one of each color, you know, primary colors or something, a red, a blue, and a yellow one. Again, you could use this particular piece and just tint it those colors, or you can find something that has those colors in it. So like, for instance, we have the blue rocket. I could give you some blue icing. So again, you just find a size that works. And then replicate it to make it a little bit rounder than. And keep in mind that like the blue rocket and the bottom of the dynamite stick and everything, they're not perfectly flat. So there's a little bit of indentation. That's why you see this line here. This is a little bit more raised than it is in the middle. So you may have problems with certain things lining up just right like you want them. So for white lines, if you're wanting to give your ornament some stripes or dots or whatever they might be, I would say maybe the ice rock blocks would work, using the edges of them like I did for the sprinkles. You could use the edges of the folded towels. I'm trying to think what else might work. You might be able to, it's harder to tint something white. You know, we have the black and white color shifting option, but I don't think, I'm just going to see if I can use the cornerstone since I have a bunch of those laying around. And see if I can show you what I mean. Let's see. Fine. And gonna have to be really small. So this is gonna disappear well before I want it to, but See if we can get it to work anyway. A plate might work okay as well. You can get it to form whatever line you're wanting it to. And make sure that it's not poking through the edges. I just want the icing on the top. So like so, and then maybe couple more down here. Okay. It's hard to see because the stupid add-on is in the front. Okay, it's sticking out the side there. Do it like this. It's just small little changes. It's very tedious. Certainly not going to be something everybody enjoys fiddling with, but I, for one, do. And then maybe some smaller ones of these. Maybe, I don't know if that's still too big. Still too small. I mean, too big. And then a few more here. You could add a little gold piece at the top to make it look like an ornament thing, but I don't think that's completely necessary. So there's kind of a Christmas ornament or holiday ornament thing in blue. You can make one red, another one green. If we want to go for green, though, I think I would rather try and make it look like a wreath cookie. So probably the best way to do that is take the green rocket. Again, copy one of the centers. Oh, I just sent that to Crate, didn't I? Oh my gosh. That was like totally dorky. Let me link that up before I forget. Okay, let's try that again. I want to copy, not send to Crate. Copy. Oh gosh. I'll lower that down. Now I actually want some of that center to pop through. That would be ideal, I think. But I have a feeling that the center is going to be too big, so I'll probably go ahead and just lift it up so that it's fully on there. And replicate it, turn it to make it a little bit round, and then just copy one of the bowls, make it smaller, and then I get the right size center that I want. Now again, I could replicate that and make the center more round if I want, like so. Not really necessary, but if you just want to go for that extra little bit, that's up to you. It's way more pieces than necessary, I think, especially at this size. I don't think most people will notice that it's kind of like a octagon shape rather than a nice round shape, but that's definitely one way to do it. It's more important when it's larger than this. And then give it some of that holly, so I would just grab the fire crackers. The holly berries. Hey, Rudy. Got canceled, huh? Is it like snowing or something? Is that why it got canceled? And then just put a couple of bunches in there. To get it all the way around. Looks like it's going to be about 4 or 5. It's not a whole bunch. You can make them bigger so that you can have to use fewer. You could use the fireworks one and just put like 5 little dots. The fireworks one, the dynamite stick, I mean. You don't have any water. Well, at least you have the presentation done. That's the way to look at it. Don't be like my boy. He's like, I just wasted time. It's like, no, now it's done, and so later when you need it, it's already taken care of. He's like a major procrastinator when it comes to that stuff. Okay, there. So now we have a Christmas wreath or a holiday wreath cookie. You could change it so that maybe you add a bow to the top. Do it that way if you want. For the bow, let's see. Let's ditch this one here and move this one down a little bit. So if you want to put a bow on, my suggestion would be I think it's the yellow. Yeah. And I don't know if this is going to work because there's not a whole lot of place to hide it, but we're going to try it. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work like I'm wanting. For one, it's like way too big. Let me knock that down a bit in size. That might help. It's still going to be a little odd, isn't it? Not quite. in the right spot. I'm trying to avoid having any of the red berries be sticking up. Well, glad you had a chance to stop in and visit with us, if nothing else. There you go. There's a little bow on the wreath. Okay, I like that one. I'm not sure about this one because it's still got things sticking out where I don't want them to stick out. We'll have to think about that. But I definitely like the little wreath cookie. So let's go ahead and put that together as a piece. So let's see what's best for this. Let's figuring out which one's straight here. Link all the little firecrackers up. I know it's a lot of detail for a little item, but you know, say someone has a little house on their plot and they just want some cookies, or maybe someone's got a bakery. I know these are for sure going to be going to my bakery. I've got a space perfect for them. So I've already moved like the Franken cake over there. So I've been hoping I'd come up with something holiday-ish for this time of year, and this is going to be perfect for that. Okay, just making sure I got all the bits. Oh, I gotta get the center piece too. Okay, so that's the wreath, and let's copy that to this one. And then we'll say, that'll give us a few wreath cookies. Oh, good. And one more. Now we have a row of wreaths. Good, good. So what's another one we can do? Let's see if we can do a different ornament one. Maybe it's the color I don't really like. So let's try a red. I guess we need the dynamite for that. All right, Rudy, you have a good day. We'll see you later. Oh, I got the hiccups. Trying to think. I like the concept of the ornaments, but there's like little bits sticking out that I don't like. Maybe just need to push it in this way. And this one here, that one's like totally not. sitting right. Is that better? Kind of okay. Sort of. You could leave it mostly brown and add like we'll come back to the red one here. Let's do this. Copy. And just make a reindeer face. Kind of comes back to like the roundimals that we did a while back. Trying to think of ways to make a face or a representation of it on around it. Now the question is, how do you get the antlers on there? That would be a good question. Let's see. First, let's take care of his mouth. And need something kind of brown, I guess. I guess it could be black maybe. So probably the easiest way is maybe to use the oh, what's it called? Chomper thingy. What's that chomper thing? Chompacabra there. Maybe to use that and just kind of sneak it in as super. You know, in real life you would use like pretzels or something, but obviously we don't have pretzels for that. Chompacabra, yeah, that's it. There you go. Now you got some little antlers for your reindeer cookie. One of your favorite WildStar monsters. I thought it was the lop. Those are pretty scary. And see how simple that was? Just a few pieces, and people will know what it's supposed to be. And you know, maybe if you don't like that it doesn't show up really well, you could use a different color sheet or something. But I like that. So we'll make these all Rudolph cookies. So let's link these to the nose, I guess. There. They'll kick you to eat you right back. Yeah, they probably would. Okay, so we need another row and then try to figure out if this is going to work. I'm not sure if that's going to work or not. Trying to think what else we could do for a holiday cookie. Oh my gosh. I actually have this Googled up. Let me see if there's any that kind of pop. I mean, you could do like a gingerbread man face if you want. That would probably be best using like the, maybe if you got a hold of some of the gingerbread decor, use like the gumdrops for the eyes and stuff. You could give your snowman a little hat as well. If you did that, I would probably go with like tires, my favorite hat and hairpiece. And I would just shrink it down, put it on its side. Probably even smaller than that. These two will disappear at a really tiny size, so just be aware of that. If you don't like the width of them, there's really not a whole lot you can do on that. You could find something else that's the edge is a little narrower. Trying to think of what might work for that. Probably like maybe the edge of the graded floor panel, that might work. Maybe the hanging cable. Let's see, it's going to be too big, I think. Well, I did that. Just probably the best thing is like make it smaller and then just put two of them together to make the band. I think that's what I did with the other time I used it for a hat. So like but as you can see, it gets pretty teensy, and at a distance you're not really going to be able to see it too well. Did I like replicate that? I think I did. That way you get the narrower band like you want. And then just replicate another one, slightly bigger, maybe not that big. For a little snowman hat. So it'd be like icing leaking off of the cookie, basically. Maybe it's like halved Oreo cookies that you attach on there with icing or something. That would probably be the way to do it in real life. So what do you think, with the hat or without the hat? See, I'm getting too detailed for these things. I'm kind of starting to go overboard here. So let me look at this picture for there's those mint candies. It's got like the red and white stripes, but I have yet to figure out a really good way to make those little swirly bits. So that's why I don't use those. We could probably try and do like a tree on the cookie itself. That would probably work. We'll do a tree. Without the hat, you think? Yeah, it's probably just a little too much. As it is, the antlers are probably stretching it a little bit. Anyway, I would use, let's see if we can get away with using the green rocket again. This time we want the pointy part. Now the trick is going to be having that bottom of the little rocket sticking out. as I have to make this bigger, it's probably gonna be sticking out the bottom. I'm gonna try and do maybe 3, maybe 4 layers. Yeah, see, that's gonna stick out really bad. Tree's looking a little strange. There we go. Little holiday tree. You like both, so you're no help. Well, it's 2 against 1, I think. But you see that it's an option. If you want to go that far, you can add a hat, but I think we'll go ahead and remove it. Now, for the decorations on the tree, again, you don't want to get too complicated. You could either do like the firecrackers again for a little bit of red. And maybe another pair for the top, like so. You could add some miniaturized string lights if you want. I think we'll keep it simple and just go with the red. I made some of them disappear, didn't I? Oh, it looks like it's missing one right there. Let me turn that. That's a little better. What, do some housing, use the, oh, what's it called? The dual arena fab kit and duke it out. If you don't like the little orange, not orange, the yellow and green bit showing here, you could just add something dark brown, maybe, to kind of hide that a little bit. I'd probably just use one of these. That's what I use for the little trunk on the big tree on the wall. And there you have a little holiday tree. guys are crazy. So let's see. It's pretty tricky with all these little parts. Again, it just depends on how detailed you want to get. You could just put a blob of icing and leave it at that. It's iced cookies, that's fine. If you don't want to make this too complicated. Let's see, I'm going to make sure that I get all of it. Yeah, okay. Okay, so there's 3 tree cookies, we got 3 Rudolphs, 3 wreaths, 3 snowmen, and these gosh awful ornament cookies. What's another color we could use? Well, I see one here, they got an example, looks like Santa's belly. You might could get away with making a Papa Phineas belly, but I don't know, that might look a little weird. What does Papa Phineas look like anyway? That's not Papa Phineas. Some weird, strange guy. Well, let's see. We could do just a straight up green one, maybe. Let's try and make a Papa Phineas cookie if we can. I don't know if we can or not, but we'll try it. It's probably not the right green though. I think his is a little funnier greens. This might be the wrong kind of green, but we'll try it. See if this works better than the ornament cookies. Let's see, what size was those? .86. I'll get out of the way, silly girl. See, even she's bored with this. She's like, come on already. Let's see. I don't know how you would do this. I know he's got a little bit of a goatee kind of thing going on. I don't know if I can get that to show up here very well. It's like wider at the top, and this is so not going to work. Your head is in the way. And then it's got some like funny sunglasses, kind of yellow with orangish, brownish trim. I don't know. I'd almost want to use the yellow tops here as sunglasses for him. Oh, that was just not the way it should have went. Trying to make these a little bit more oval. I don't think that's working very well, but move your head. Oh, that didn't work at all, did it? Your Alex that play link. That just looks odd. Let's see, he's got a pointed nose, but you know, it's also green, so how do you show that? Maybe the point here. More up, isn't it? That's so not the size. His nose is like really big. Now the goatee looks like his mouth. That doesn't work at all. His, his proportions are so wrong. Whoops. Catch both of them. There we go. It doesn't look right either. Need his mouth. He's got like I don't know how to do the mouth. Just uh Looks so not right. No, I think we better just stick with typical holiday ones, because that's not turn out very good. Um, you can do a snowflake one if you want to try it. I would probably go with, let's just get rid of Mr. Phineas here because that's just awful. Can't say that I didn't give it a shot though. I'm sure someone else could probably figure out a better way of doing it. It's just, that's not working. But you could do a snowflake by using like some of these pieces and just um, again, there's some debate as to how many points your little snowflake should have, or if maybe you're making a star or something. Uh, Maybe you only want it to have 6 points instead of how many we got here, but the idea is just to kind of try and keep it uniform the way you're doing it. You know, whatever you add on one side, make sure you add on the other so that it stays. Oops, wrong thing. So like this is a really super simplified snowflake. Or maybe it's a jingle bell or I don't know what. And do something for the green. Maybe this one has trying to think. You could maybe try some stars. That would probably work. You could do another white one and try and make some like a penguin. You know, put some black around the edges and then the two eyes and then like a little belly, just part of the belly thing. You could turn some of them into presents, maybe. Well, this one has like, I think it's supposed to be a Christmas pudding. It's got like white icing coming from the top, which looks a little weird. I don't see any other like good, you know, like little symbols that work well. It's usually just ornaments and stuff. So let's see, what's another pattern we can make? And we'll call that good. I thought about like some kind of swirly thing, but I don't know if I can do that with the white. So I like the white icing on there, so let me see if we can do something with the plate. The only thing about the plate is it's like paper thin. It's great for if like you have an ice rink that you've done for your plot and you're wanting something that looks like where people have skated, you know, the little markings on the plate does really good for that. I used that last year for my ice rink. So I can promise that works really good, but I don't know if it's going to work here very well. Probably should have. Let me just grab this. Copy. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. It's like a little wonky sided. Let me see if I can get this to look more centery and less flashy. Yeah, it doesn't even show up at that size. Let's grab one of these for a center dot. It looked like a bullseye, a holiday bullseye. That's not the best of things, but it's all I can think of. Oops. Oh man, did I just... do that again. Just accidentally clicked off. I just looked down for like a second and it just went poof. Oh, there is that. Well, for crying out loud. So it's a slightly different color, not as pure white as the other, but maybe we can fix that by using this. Well, there you go. It's something sort of, just something different. There you go. A little variety of holiday cookies. Let's see, I'm going to add one more, I think. I'm going to try anyway. Add. I can get it. Just want a little ring of white. Oh no, that might be too much. Oh well, it's pretty close. So there you go. Holiday cookies on a tray. Great for those that want some kind of a bakery thing, just in their household, or just looking for something. I mean, you could take just an individual one of these and put it in a little frame, and then you have a little holiday painting kind of deal. So hopefully that's interesting enough, gives you guys some ideas. I'm definitely going to be moving these over to the bakery for sure. Might even add them to the cookie pie, the candy room. I don't think I have enough room for this. I think it's way too many pieces, to be honest, but definitely some fun stuff. So I think that's going to be it for today, guys. So holiday cookies for Advent Day 20. Now remember, we don't have the Advent being built live tomorrow, but I will be showing it off. What I've built. I've already got like a few projects that I have done on the side to make up. Bugging me because it's got like that little bit of eyeball that's off. Anyway, I've got some pre-prepared. You probably noticed the thing covered up over here, and there's actually one that's under here that I've got hidden. So I've got a few of them already built and ready for the days that I won't be live streaming building them. But I do have room for one more suggestion. If there's anything specific you would like to see holiday related, now that will be for, I think it's Friday. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to be streaming Friday. I'm going to try, but if I do, it'll probably be a quick one because we're doing our last minute grocery shopping for the holiday dinner this weekend. We're going to be doing that on Friday because the stores are going to be swamped, I think, on Saturday. So we're trying to avoid most of the crowds. And while my husband has offered to do it by himself, as you know, equipped with the list from me, I much prefer to go myself because I don't know if you guys are like me, but when I go grocery shopping, I have a list, but I always think of other things that I probably would like to have on hand that are beyond the list, and I would just much rather do that myself, or accompany them so I can make sure everything that way. If there's anyone to blame that we forgot some, it falls on me and I don't have to get fussy at anybody else. So like I said, there's still room to make a suggestion for one of the projects. I think I've got all the rest covered but the one. So if I don't hear anything from you guys, then I'll just whip something up on Friday. But again, I'm not sure I'll be streaming it Friday. I may just skip Friday to bring it into a very nice long holiday weekend, because I've already warned you guys that I won't be here on the 26th and 27th. We won't be back until the 28th for sure. So just a heads up about that. But and of course tomorrow, the reason we won't be doing the live streaming of the Advent project is because tomorrow is Wednesday, and that means house tours. So we've got a lot of beautiful winter plots to cover. I've been getting some notices from several other people, and I believe it was Nexus Cupcake that suggested one that I apparently overlooked in my random visiting. So got a lot of nice ones in line. I've got a listing of some of the ones from last year, but we may not actually get to all of them. I'm really preferring to focus on those that are newer. But if you have a plot that you have been working on, I think you have one, don't you, Poi? I'm not sure. But if you have one and I haven't visited it yet, and you would like me to visit it, especially since it looks like we're not going to be having a Winterfest related housing competition directly from Carbine themselves. At least I've not seen any notice of that. This is your opportunity to get a little extra, some screen time. That's, I guarantee, is well deserved. So just give me a heads up if you have a plot that I've not checked out already, and we'd love to visit it. Now we are looking specifically for winter themed plots. It doesn't have to be Winterfest necessarily, just winter themed, to go along with the season and everything. If you have a plot that doesn't fit Winterfest or winter season and you still think it deserves to be spotlighted, then of course let me know and I'll add it to the to be viewed list later. But we probably won't get back to our usual queuing until next year sometime. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. Hope it helped. Hope I gave you some ideas. Appreciate the follows, the tweets, the retweets, the votes, and the general support. And If you haven't read the article that Carbon put up about me, please do so. It's not necessarily a promotion of myself. It's more a promotion for WildStar Housing. It's just my way of helping to get the word out. And when they asked me to do the interview, I was more than delighted to do so because I know it will help bring some extra attention to not only the game itself, but this game within a game, I guess, if you want to call it that. Oh, is it? Let me write that down so I don't forget. Sounds Russian. I think you've told me that before. I probably wrote it down somewhere else, and I've got like too many. I really need to do a cleaning on the desk. But thank you. I'll note that down. Just remember, I've done lost my train of thought. Oh yes, if you know of anybody that's been kind of contemplating about playing WildStar, isn't quite sure, maybe housing will be what suckers them in, I guess, if you want to call it that. Trick them into, get them, addicted to the housing part, and then they'll play the rest. Because, as things are added to the game, whether it be through raiding or dungeoning or just needing the plat to be able to afford it, while most of us prefer to stay in our houses and decorate all day, we do have to get out into the game world. And I'm all the time saying that people sometimes will joke and say, "Oh my gosh, you're out of your housing." I was like, "Yeah, I got to support my habit by playing the game, doing dailies and stuff to be able to afford the things that we build." But point them out, get the word out, advertise, because a lot of it is word of mouth. While I think a lot of people would argue that Carbine themselves could do a better job in advertising, a lot of it is just us. It's our job to spread the word and everything. Hey, Lizard, and thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry that you're coming in right at the end. Yeah, my hours aren't ideal for everybody, but be free to check out the videos on YouTube. We always upload our streams there for those that aren't able to catch us at our live times. Oh, is it Poi? I thought it was. It sounded familiar, but I don't know. I just know the first word, the Natasha part. But yeah, word of mouth is probably our best way of promoting the game, and even if you've mentioned it to your friends before and they tried it in the past, so much has changed in the last year or so that I think it's worth them having a second look. And of course, if it's still not up to snuff for them, it's important to get their feedback on why it's still not. And the feedback, be it sort of negative or positive, is always helpful. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's it for today, guys. Thanks so much, and good luck with whatever you're working on, be it housing or not. And be sure and join us tomorrow for the house tours. Be welcome to join us any other time, but those are probably the fave thing for most. And in the meantime, if any of you have plans of disappearing for the holidays and stuff, and I don't see you before then, hope your holiday is a wonderful one. I'll probably be gaming stuff right up until the end, as the hardcore person we are. But yeah, hopefully we see you before that, though. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.